kind of know what I'm doing at this point.
Okay, you guys ready to watch this shit show?
Yeah, welcome back, gays and gamers.
Cheers.
Cheers. So we're gonna be talking about, or we're gonna be actually watching the debates as much as we can if we don't get kicked off.
Here's the thing. So I'm curious. This is either going to be the shortest podcast we've ever done or the longest. So we don't know what's going to happen if we end up showing. It's live streaming on YouTube, so we're just going to mirror the stream that NBC is doing on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
And then we'll see though. I mean, I feel like I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Is somebody else live streaming it? I thought they were.
Yeah, there's a few other YouTubers that got notifications
from
that are doing the same thing.
Yeah.
Let me see.
I think we'll be okay, and if we aren't, screw it.
Yeah, they're just doing introductions to these fucking idiots right now.
Ceremonial stuff. Who cares about that? It's not really.
We can go ahead. We'll pop it up on the screen.
All right.
So really quickly, while they're talking about whatever, I wanted to talk about the Candace Owens thing because people got super fucking salty about that.
Oh, dude, we got like 10 thumbs down.
Yeah, and the biggest thing about Candace Owens is that she's I get that she's an effective tool for your cause and everything like that. She's just really boring to me, and she's just uninteresting because she has not an interesting take or anything. But let's just
in the same way that Candace Owens is neocon's only black friend, Charlie Kirk is their only gay friend. So I think they just sort of use them as their pawns.
That was really good. I really like that a lot. All right, let's see what these idiots are talking about. Wait, I need to unmute this. Sorry, guys. Sorry.
Yeah, we had it muted because we had it kept on the live stream the whole time.
20 candidates qualified for this.
Jesus, 20.
We'll hear from 10 tonight and 10 more.
I'm going to turn it down just a little bit for now.
Look at Julian Castro.
Yeah,
why does he
look
the same last name?
Why does Julian Castro look so feminine all of a sudden?
I don't know.
Our girl Tulsi. Dude, that gray streak in Tulsi's hair.
It's hot.
Hot.
Very hot.
Oh, who's that loser on the end? Oh, that's Hickenlooper. He was the mayor or the governor of Colorado when I lived there.
Wow, really?
Mm-hmm.
Do you have a soft spot in your heart for him?
No, he was like the first Republican in a long time.
Thank you.
Oh.
Many plans, free college, free childcare, government health care.
You're a Native American. Clearly.
But this comes at a time when 71% of Americans say the economy is doing well, including 60% of Democrats. What do you say to those this kind of significant change could be risky to the economy?
So I think of it this way. Who is this economy really working for? It's doing great for a thinner and thinner slice at the top. It's doing great.
Do you want to full screen her?
Yeah, good point.
It's doing great for people who are trying to get a prescription filled. It's doing great for people who want to invest in private prisons, just not for the African Americans and Latinx whose families
Yes, my people.
whose communities
She would do Latinx.
Of course, Latinx.
for giant oil companies that want to drill everywhere, just not for the rest of us who are watching climate change bear down upon us. When you've got a government, when you've got an economy,
She's saying what she has to say.
I know. This is tough. It's tough to talk over her.
God, Beto O'Rourke is still here?
Hell yeah.
We need to attack it head on, and we need to make structural change in our government, in our economy, and in our country.
All right. What?
You know what's so funny? I hear Klobuchar's name, but I completely forgot what she looks like.
She's the...
I got it now,
yeah.
but...
That smile.
That some of your rivals are offering, giving your voters, people, a false sense of what's actually achievable.
Well, first, the economy. We know that not everyone is.
You ate salad with a comb. We all know what you did.
Excuse me?
She did.
She ate salad with a comb? Are we able to pause this at all? Like,
yeah, we can. We probably shouldn't, though.
No, I guess you're right. I guess you're right.
We can always do this.
But I think my plan.
So I had I met with a friend when I was in New York, and he did the Latinx thing, and I was like, oh, I don't want to say anything. Like, I'm Latino. I don't want to correct you because I don't want to have this conversation right now.
I know.
But it was really, I was like, whew. Okay.
The thing I do is I just go, why do you do that? Why are you doing that? Who's that for? Who is that helping? Go down to Latin America and ask how much they want to be called Latinx.
Latinx, yeah. It's kind of a disrespect to their
language.
Their language, yeah.
Families that make up to $100,000. And then the third thing I would do is make it easier for students to pay off their student loans. Because I can tell you this. If billionaires can pay off their yachts, students should be able to pay off their student loans.
She's right. I'm voting for Amy Klobuchar.
She convinced you, huh? Oh, God, his face.
I think he's handsome.
It's like, I don't know.
He does have the Dr. Seuss snoot, you know?
Where's our comments?
Would you support that?
Oh, I don't know.
What would your top individual rate be?
Boop, boop, boop.
This economy has got to work for everyone. And right now we know that it isn't. It's going to take all of us coming together to make sure that it does.
He's choking.
Cada persona en el éxito.
No! Look at Cory Booker. He's like, what the fuck are you doing?
Right now we have a system.
No way.
For access and outcomes. To explain an economy that is rigged to corporations and to the very
no fucking way, dude.
Tax cut that favored corporations while they were sitting on record piles of cash and the very wealthiest in this country at a time of historic wealth inequality. A new democracy that is revived because we returned power to the people. No PACs, no gerrymandering, automatic and same-day voter
I can't believe this shit.
More voters, and a new Voting Rights Act to get rid of the barriers that are in place now. That's how we each
yeah. Shut up, you.
Now say all that in Spanish.
That's time, sir.
That's time, sir.
If you want to answer the direct question, would you support a 70% individual
marginal
tax rate? Yes, no, or pass?
I would support a tax rate and a tax code that is fair to everyone. Tax capital.
So no, I'm not going to answer the question.
Yeah.
Of course.
Take that corporate tax rate up to 28%. You would generate the revenues you need to pay for the
you're not going to answer. Okay, fuckface. Enough.
Senator Booker.
Jesus Christ, dude.
Jesus.
What a spectacle.
Oh, I forgot how hard his eyes are so hard to look at.
Without a plan to break up tech companies like Facebook, Amazon, and Google.
He looks like a...
should not, quote, be running around pointing at companies and breaking them up without any kind of process. Why do you disagree?
I don't think I disagree. I think we have a serious problem in our country with corporate consolidation. And you see the evidence of that in how dignity is being stripped from labor. And we have people that work full-time jobs and still can't make a living wage. We see that because consumer prices are being raised by pharmaceutical companies that often have monopolistic holds on
there we go.
drugs.
Cool.
And you see that by just the fact that this is actually
hello, everybody.
an economy that's hurting small businesses.
Sis just goes, that's time, sir. This is so...
Can you guys hear us okay and then the video okay as well? It's loud in my head, but I don't know how loud it is for you.
Consolidation and let the free market work. And I'll tell you this. I live in a low-income black and brown community. I see every single day that this economy is not...
You know what's so funny is he didn't grow up. He grew up in a very upper middle class.
It seems like it.
Yeah,
you know?
He doesn't have any idea. Do you ever hear about like his T-Bone story, or like where he made up this gang member he knew, and then like they tried to track this person down?
T-Bone?
That's what he's...
No fucking way.
Yeah.
T-Bone.
Yeah,
that is so embarrassing.
He used to be so great, man. It's such a shame these people just have become such clowns.
He has the same eyes as the T-1000 from Terminator that like melts into liquid metal.
Yeah.
Does that mean he has the same energy?
Yeah. Let's see what he's gonna...
Sounds good.
Thank you, Maya.
I'm following along on my phone just to make sure we don't get cut off.
Thank you, Kevin.
We have too much of a problem with corporate power growing. We see that with everything from Citizens United and the way they're trying to influence Washington. It's about
Facebook, Twitter. Say Facebook and Twitter.
Country who need to have someone that's a champion for them.
Thank you, Senator.
That's time, sir.
That is time, sis.
Picking winners and losers.
So the way I understand this is there is.
Why is she talking again?
I know.
In giant industries in this country. That hurts workers, it hurts small businesses, it hurts independent farmers, it hurts our economy
It's weird.
overall, and it helps constrict real innovation and growth in this economy. Now look,
apparently she's like leading in the polls. I don't believe it. I think she's, I don't know.
Because have we seen Joe Biden like once in the last like 6 months?
No.
That's part of the corruption in this system. It has been far too long that the monopolies have been making the campaign contributions.
Say Facebook. Say Twitter. Say Facebook. Say Facebook.
God damn it.
Made in Washington. Where I want to start this is I
Can hardly hear the speakers.
government to the people, and that means calling out the names of the monopolists and saying I have the courage to go after them.
Thank you.
Wow.
Secretary Castro, the next question is for you.
Mr.
Democrats
Castro.
have been talking about the pay gap for decades. What would you do to ensure that women
Oh, fuck.
No, this doesn't exist.
Thank you very much for that question, Lester. You know, I grew up with a mother who raised my brother Joaquin and me as a single parent. And I know what it's like to struggle. I know what it's like,
don't do this.
To rent a home and to worry
How
about
embarrassing.
whether you're going to be able to pay the rent.
They just won't drop it.
And to see
They won't
mom
drop
work
it.
very, very hard and know that moms across this country are getting paid less
because they're
women.
not
I would
working.
do several things, starting with something we should have done a long time ago, which is to pass the Equal Rights Amendment. Finally, in this
Jesus. Jordan, are you okay?
also pursue
It's
Because
okay,
they
cool
won't
it. Take a
stop
sip of your beer.
this.
Relax.
Why won't they
People work
stop
in this
doing
country.
this?
It's past time that we did that. And, you know, we have to do this. If we want to be
It's
the
already
most prosperous
illegal.
nation in the 21st century, we need to make sure that women are paid what they deserve.
All right, thank you. I want to put the same question to Congresswoman Gabbard. Your thoughts?
Oh, fuck. Yes. Yes.
First of all, let's recognize the situation we're in, that the American people deserve a president who will put your interests ahead of the rich and powerful. That's not what we have right now.
Yes, Tulsi, come on.
I enlisted in the Army National Guard after the Al-Qaeda terror attacks on 9/11, so I could go after those who had attacked us on that day. I still serve as a major. Served over 16
My heart
years,
is
deployed
racing.
twice to the Middle East, and in Congress serve on the Foreign Affairs and Armed Services Committees for over 6 years. I know the importance of our national security, as well as the terribly high cost of war. And for too long, our leaders have failed us, taking us from one regime change war to the next, leading us into a new Cold War.
She's not
Thank you.
answering it.
Talking about what actually fucking matters.
Yeah.
Of our hard-earned taxpayer dollars and countless lives. This insanity must end. As president, I will take your hard-earned taxpayer dollars and instead invest those dollars into serving your needs. Things like health care, a green economy, good-paying jobs, protecting our environment, and so much more.
Bless you.
Mayor,
Oh, no.
you're the mayor of the biggest city.
Oh my God, de Blasio.
He has the face of Trump.
Gap between the wealthy and the poor. How would you address income inequality?
Well, we've been addressing income inequality in New York City by raising wages, by raising benefits, by putting money back in the hands of working people. $15 minimum wage, paid sick days.
Every job will get automated.
Huge difference in working people's lives. But let me tell you what we're hearing here already in the first round of questions is that battle for the heart and soul of
your
our
city hates
party.
you
I
and
want
is
to make it
failing.
clear. This is supposed to be the party of
I saw
working
so many
people.
rats.
Yes, we're supposed to be for 70% tax
I'm looking at
rate.
another one right now.
Yes, we're supposed to be for free
Damn.
college, free public college for our young people. We are supposed to break up big corporations when they're not serving our democracy. This Democratic Party has to be
Say
strong
Facebook.
and bold and progressive.
Jordan, God.
And in New York, we've
They can't
proven
hear you.
that we can do something very different. We can put money back in the hands of working people. And let me tell you, every time you talk about
Yeah, Kevin, she's the only one on the panel that hasn't fucking failed us all as a journalist.
Every single time is there's plenty of money in this world. There's plenty of money in this country. It's just in the wrong hands. We Democrats have to fix that.
Congressman Delaney, do you agree?
Just
Delaney?
nothing.
Who the fuck is Delaney?
He said nothing. Oh my God, who is this guy?
I've never heard of these people.
This is the issue that all of us here on the campaign
Delaney?
We need to make sure everyone has a living wage.
He looks like the CPR doll that Dwight cuts the mask off of, or the face off of in The Office.
That will create a situation where people actually have a living wage.
He's a lizard. This guy's a fucking lizard.
I learned about Castro like a week ago. This dude just now. Who's that guy second from the left?
That's...
You know, I'm very
I don't
different
know.
than everyone else here on the stage.
What
Prior
the
to being in
fuck,
Congress,
dude?
I don't know.
I was an entrepreneur. I started 2 businesses. I created
He's so
thousands
sweaty.
of jobs.
Look at his
I
upper
spent
lip.
my whole career helping
You wanna
small
lick
to
that?
mid-sized businesses all over the country.
Who is that?
5,000
Yeah, we have no
5,000
fucking clue.
We have no clue.
The Obama administration gave me an award
Delaney.
for lending to disadvantaged communities. I know
You got an award.
Jobs. We need a short-term strategy.
That's really-
which is
that's
putting money
cool.
in the pockets of workers.
Awards are
with
really
your
cool.
income
They're not for
tax
children or
raising the
anything.
minimum wage and created paid family
I was.
leave. And then we
It's
need
funny.
to have a
Julian
long-term
Castro
strategy to
was
make sure this
recognized for
country is
his work as
competitive,
one
and
of the
we're
few
creating
Latino
jobs
cabinet
everywhere
members in
this country.
Obama's cabinet.
How would you address
And I was like, how many were there? 10, 15, maybe?
Right.
Like, how many people are you gonna recognize?
Hang on,
Who is
let's
this?
I don't know who the... I can't see it.
Can you drag our thing over somewhere?
Jay Inslee. I sounds familiar, but I don't...
Standing up for unions.
Sorry, guys, one
To
second.
reinvigorate collective bargaining so we can increase wages finally. I marched with the SEIU folks. It is not right that the CEO of McDonald's makes 2,100 times more than the people slinging hash at McDonald's. And the next thing I'll do is
Slinging
put
hash.
people to work in the jobs
I'm
of the
slinging
present
hash.
and the future.
McDonald's
Look,
isn't a
Donald
job that
Trump
you should
is
raise a
simply
family
wrong.
on.
He says wind turbines cause
Right.
cancer. We know they cause jobs. And we know that we can put
Wait,
millions
okay.
of people
What is
to work
this?
in the
What is this
clean
about?
energy jobs of the future. Carpenters, IBW's members, machinists.
This is-
We're doing it in my state today. And then we can do what America always does. Lead the world and invent the future and put people to work. That's what we're going to do.
Congressman Ryan, President Trump.
Yeah, Maya, who's the candidate that you want to see?
I know, right?
Promised that manufacturing
We like
jobs
Tulsi and
are
Andrew
all
Yang.
coming back.
Well, they're honest.
Who the fuck is this?
Is Andrew gonna be in the next one? The next debate?
Oh, he's
Did
he
he make
posted
it?
he
Yes,
posted
I
today
believe
that he was
can,
there,
but
but
first, let's
maybe
say the
tomorrow.
president came, he said,
Oh.
don't sell your house to people in Youngstown, Ohio. And in his administration,
no
just in
idea
the last 2
who this
years,
guy
we
is.
lost
Tim
$4,000
Ryan.
at,
How did he
4,000
make it?
jobs at a
That's a
General
good
Motors
question.
facility that rippled throughout our community. General Motors got a tax cut. General Motors got a bailout. And then they have the audacity to move a new car that they're going to produce to Mexico. I've had
Where's my
family
daddy,
members
Pete?
that have to unbolt a machine from the factory floor,
I don't.
put it in a
I guess.
box,
God, I guess
and
they are
ship
splitting
to
it up.
China.
This is.
My area where
Yeah,
I'm
they
from
have to.
in
They said
Northeast
10 we're
Ohio,
doing tonight,
this
10 the
issue
next
we're
one.
talking about here, it's been going on 30 years.
Yeah, Tom,
This
I don't know
is
who
not
the-
a new phenomenon in the United States of America.
He has
The
a
bottom
disturbing lack of
60% haven't
lips.
seen a raise since 1980.
Many of these
Meanwhile, the top
candidates do,
1%
Jordan.
control 90% of the wealth. We need an industrial
I'm a
policy
lizard.
saying we're going to dominate building electric vehicles. There's going to be 30 million made in the next 10 years. I want
Oh.
half of them made in the United States. I want to dominate the solar industry and manufacture those here in the United States.
Yeah.
Are they coming back? Are these jobs coming back?
So we've had an industrial
Whoa.
policy in the United States for decades now, and it's basically been let giant corporations do whatever they want to do. Giant corporations have exactly one loyalty, and that is to profits. If
And they
can save a
employ
nickel by moving
most
a
of the
job
country.
to Mexico or to Asia or to Canada, they're going to do it. So here's what I propose for an industrial policy. Start with a place where there's a real need. There's going to be a worldwide need for green technology, ways to clean up the air, ways to clean up the water. And we can be the ones to provide that. We need to go tenfold in our research and development on green energy going forward.
You have to make it
And then we need to
economical
say,
for a company to
any
adopt these
corporation can
technologies. That's
come
step
and
one.
use that research.
You have to
They
give
can
them
go
monetary incentives.
Because right now
you can't just make the government strong. Like,
right now, the incentive is to outsource and to do things that are cheaper that end in more
when the
profit.
government starts to make regulations like this is why they outsource.
$1 trillion market coming for green products. We should be the leaders and the owners, and we should have
We already
that
are.
1.2 million manufacturing jobs here in America. We can do this.
All right, we're going to turn to the issue of health care right now. I'd really try to understand where there may or may not be daylight between you. Many people watching at home have health insurance coverage through their employer.
Tulsi.
I wish I did. So fucking expensive.
Health insurance in favor of a government-run plan. Just a show of hands to start off with.
Oh yeah, Tulsi, keep your hand fucking down.
Right.
She's
Senator,
standing her ground.
Put the question to you. You're one of the Democrats who wants to keep private insurance in addition to a government health care plan. Why is an incremental approach, in your view, better than a sweeping overhaul?
Well, I think it's a bold approach. It's something that Barack Obama wanted to do when we were
And-
working on the Affordable
and you guys all
Care
stopped
Act,
it from
and that is a
happening.
public option. I am just simply concerned about kicking half of America off of their health insurance in 4 years, which is exactly what this bill says. So let me go on beyond that. There is a much bigger issue in addition to that, and that is pharmaceuticals. The president
Beto never knows what to
literally
do with
went
his
on
hands.
TV on Fox
I know,
and
he's
said
had
that
him, like,
people's
here
heads
the whole
would
time.
spin when they see how much he would bring down pharmaceutical prices. Instead, 2,500 drugs have gone up in double digits since he came into office. Instead, he gave $100 billion in giveaways to the pharma companies. For the rest of us, for the rest of America, that's what we call at home, all foam and no beer. We got nothing.
All the
out of
sizzle,
it.
no steak.
And so my proposal is to do something about
You don't
pharma,
drink
to
beer,
take it
Amy.
on, to allow negotiation under Medicare, to bring in less expensive drugs from other countries. And pharma thinks they own
We
Washington.
develop all the
Well, they
drugs that
don't
are sent
own
to other
you.
countries.
Thank you. Senator Warren, you signed on to Bernie Sanders'
Her
Medicare
again.
for All plan.
Yeah,
It
she's
would
getting
put
a lot of
essentially
oxygen.
everybody on Medicare
It's weird,
and then
but it's
eliminate
very
private
fabricated.
plans that offer similar coverage. Is that the plan or path that you would pursue
Intentional,
as
I mean.
president?
So yes, I'm with Bernie on Medicare for All, and let me tell you why. I spent a big chunk of my life studying why families go broke. And one of the #1 reasons
How
is
long?
the cost of healthcare, medical bills.
A big chunk of my
And
life.
that's not just for people who don't have insurance. It's for people who have insurance. Look at the business model of an insurance company. It's to bring in as many dollars as they can in
Whoa.
premiums and to
I just
pay
did that,
out
but
as
away
few
from the
dollars
mic,
as
Jordan.
possible
My
for
only
your
one, I promise.
healthcare.
No, I'm gonna have
That
plenty
leaves
more.
families with rising premiums, rising co-pays, and fighting with insurance companies to try to get the health care that their doctors say that they and their children
Kevin, I
need.
think it's because
Medicare for
she's the
all
DNC
solves that problem.
like favorite.
She's this
other
year's
than
Hillary.
Biden.
There are
Biden will
lot
get a lot of
of
oxygen
politicians
tomorrow.
who say, oh, it's just not
Or I don't know, maybe they're
possible,
gonna do.
we
I didn't
just
both.
can't
Can you
do
look
it.
up what's
Have
gonna
Yeah, I'll
happen?
look it up.
Political reasons for this. What they're really telling you is they just
The establishment
won't
likes
fight for
Warren.
it. Well, healthcare
Yeah.
is a basic human right, and I will fight for basic human rights.
Congressman O'Rourke, when you ran for Senate, you also praised a bill that would replace private insurance. This year, you're saying you're no longer sure. Can you explain why?
My goal is to ensure that every American is well enough to live to their full potential because they have health care. In Laredo, Texas, I met a young man, 27
Oh,
years
I
old.
hate these stories.
Told me
Ugh.
that he'd been to a doctor once in his life. And on that visit, he was told he had diabetes.
Thursday,
he was told he had
tomorrow.
glaucoma.
Okay.
Joe,
and he was
Bernie,
told
Kamala.
untreated because he doesn't
Fuck,
have
so kind of the
healthcare,
A-team.
He'll be dead before the age of 40.
Shit. Well, oh well.
So getting to guaranteed, high-quality, universal health care as quickly and surely as possible has to be our goal. The ability to afford your prescriptions and go to a primary care provider. The ability to see a mental health care provider. In Texas, the single largest provider of mental health care services is the county jail system today. And healthcare also has to mean that every woman can make her own decisions about her own body and has access to the care that makes that possible. Our plan says that if you're uninsured, we enroll you in Medicare. If you're insufficiently insured, you can't afford your premiums, we enroll you in Medicare. But if you're a member of a union that negotiated for a health care plan that you like because it works for you and your family, you're able to keep it. We preserve choice by making sure that everybody has health
Time is
care.
up, Congressman, but I do want to ask a follow-up on this one. Just to be very clear, I'll give you 10 seconds. Would you replace private insurance?
No, I think the choice is fundamental to our ability to get everybody cared for.
Private insurance is not working for tens of millions of Americans. When you talk about the co-pays, the deductibles, the premiums, the out-of-pocket expenses, it's not working.
But if you had a government option, it would make competition and make them lower prices. That's what we wanted Obama to do, and he didn't fucking do it.
Right.
You both are retarded.
Why are you defending private insurance?
Say they like their private health insurance.
Why are you not?
It should be noted that 100 million Americans. I mean, I think we should be the party that keeps what's working and fixes what's broken.
Wow, the most general statement you could ever make.
Some people are Republicans and some people are Democrats.
That's just how it is. How stupid.
Why do we have to stand for taking away
This skin suit motherfucker is so weird.
It's bad policy. If you go to every hospital
His eyebrows
in this
don't
country,
move.
and you ask them one question,
He's just a
which
strange
is, how
looking
would it
dude.
have been for you last year if every one of your bills
There we
were
go.
Very
paid
nice.
at the Medicare rate? Every single hospital administrator said they would close.
That's how I'm feeling
And the Medicare for All
about
bill
this whole thing.
requires payments to stay at current Medicare rates. So to some extent, we're basically supporting a bill that will have every hospital closed. I mean, my dad was a union electrician. Right, I actually grew up in a working class family. He loved the health
They all have to
care
flex
that
how
the
poor they
IBD
grew up.
Of course.
Yeah.
And I just always think about my dad.
I want
and
them to
anything
be
I would do
honest.
from a policy perspective. He'd look at me and he'd say, "Good job, John, for
You're a
getting health care
gay-
for everybody." But why are you taking my health
I've
care
let this
away?
play out a little bit because I'm fascinated to hear the daylight between you. Congresswoman Gabbard, weigh
Yes.
in here.
Yes.
Thank you.
I think we're talking about this in the wrong way. You're talking about one bill over another bill. Really what we're talking about is our objective, making sure that every single sick American in this country is able to get the health care that they need. I believe Medicare for All is the way to do that. I also think that employers will recognize how much money will be saved by supporting a Medicare for All program, a program that will reduce the administrative costs, reduce the bureaucratic costs, and make sure that everyone
But
gets
keep
that
private insurance
quality health care
because
that they need. I also think if you look at other countries in the world who have universal health care, every one of them has some form of a role of private insurance. So I think that's what we've got to look at, taking the best of these ideas, but making sure unequivocally that no sick American goes without getting the care that they need, regardless of how much or little money they have in their pocket.
Congresswoman, thanks.
There you go.
Senator Booker on this. Senator Booker, explain to me where you are. This is
That wasn't a bad answer. I thought that was pretty good.
Tell us where you are.
I absolutely will. First of all, we're talking about this as a health care
Absolutely
issue.
will.
Communities like mine are confused now. This is an education issue because kids who don't have health care are not going to succeed in school. It is an issue for jobs. And
Whoa, his eyes go in different directions.
I know, he's got something going on there.
At work. It's even a retirement issue because in my community,
It's very obvious
African-Americans
here.
have a lower life expectancy
It's always
because of poor health care.
Yeah.
And so where I
just
stand is
that
very
hard to
clear.
look at.
Health care is not just a human right, it should be an American right. And I believe the best way to get there is Medicare for all. But I have a urgency.
Do you think health care is a human right?
President of the United States.
I don't really, I've never really liked that statement. Because like if you're fucking, why am I paying as much as I'm paying and I don't smoke and I'm not 300 pounds?
Listen, I
and I'm
mean,
paying the same price as somebody my age who smokes and is 300 pounds.
value of life is a human right. When you violate that value, is it? Are we supposed to pay for you? Probably not.
Or you should have to pay more.
Yeah, exactly. So like,
That's why I support a government option, is because people like that then will make my private insurance less expensive if they get off my private insurance.
Time is up, Senator. I want to move back, if I can, to Congresswoman Gabbard.
Who is this fucker raising his finger?
Insurance companies last year alone.
No one cares what you have to say, dude. That's why no one's asking you anything.
$23 billion in profits out of the healthcare system. $23 billion, and that doesn't count the money that was paid to executives, the money that was spent lobbying Washington. We have a giant industry that wants our healthcare system to stay the way it is, because it's not working for families, but it sure as heck working for them. It's time for us to make families come
I forgot that I had Donald Trump muted.
I'm gonna pull him up when they go to break.
Okay, good.
So Donald Trump is live tweeting this, so we're gonna catch up on.
He hasn't tweeted anything.
He will. He will on the break.
Exercise of their right of choice. And I am the only candidate here who has passed a law protecting a woman's right of reproductive health and health insurance. And I'm the only candidate who has passed a public option. And I respect everybody's goals and plans here. But we do have one candidate that's actually advanced the ball. and we got to have
And it's
access
me.
to
And
it's
everyone.
me.
I've done it as a public officer.
Senator Klobuchar, I want to give you.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
says.
Amy's got some shit to say.
Okay,
Okay.
all right.
There's two women up here that have fought pretty hard for a woman's right to choose. So I'll start with that.
That was good. Nicely done. Seriously.
Very strategic. Yeah.
We share the goal of universal health care.
Tulsi looks so good.
Dude, yeah. I even like that she's got like her skin problems. Like she's
real.
Real.
Perfect.
Medicare or Medicaid without any insurance companies involved. You could do it either way. And the estimates are 13 million people would see a reduction in their premium.
Thank you, Tom.
12 more million people would get covered. So I think it is a beginning, and the way you start.
I don't think you want me to be president. I'd be more of a dictator.
Oh no, and you don't. I'm not the kind to be president. I'm the kind to be a vice president who makes school lunches fucking gourmet.
You all support some version of a government health care option.
I'll be the Michelle Obama of us.
God,
too.
I feel like he got weirder looking.
Yes, it would.
He's talked maybe once this whole time.
I remember when he ran.
Freedom. I believe in reproductive
He just
justice.
didn't look this weird.
Reproductive justice. Did you hear that?
Is that just because a woman, or let's also not forget, someone in the trans community, a trans female, is poor, doesn't mean they shouldn't have the right to exercise that right to choose. And so I absolutely would.
What?
I think he
have the
means
right to
trans
have an
male.
abortion.
Yeah,
He's
that-
biologically a
Everybody in
trans
this
man.
crowd
That was a
and watching
serious
at
gaffe
home
if that's what he
knows that
meant.
In our country
Yikes.
today, a
Especially if that was
person's
he
right
was
to
going for a
choose is
slam
under
dunk on
assault
that.
in places like Missouri, in Alabama, in Georgia. I would appoint judges to the federal bench that understand the precedent of Roe v. Wade and will respect.
Yeah,
it.
he
And in
screwed up.
addition to that,
Kavanaugh's already
I'm sure that we
voted
fight hard
for
as
all
we
the things you
transition
want,
our
so he
healthcare
didn't
system
prove your
to
point.
One where everybody can get and exercise that right.
Senator Warren, would you put limits on
He screwed
any
up.
limits on abortion?
Oh, this is gonna be a good
I
question.
would make certain that every woman has access to the full range of reproductive health care services.
You cannot have it go
and that
past 6
includes
months
birth control,
unless
it
there's something
includes
seriously
abortion,
wrong with the baby
it
and the
includes
mother.
Everything for a woman. And I want to add on that, it's not enough for us to expect the courts to protect us. 47 years ago, Roe versus Wade was decided, and we've all looked to the courts all that time as state after state has undermined
Are you going to have
Roe,
a
has
time
put in
limit?
Exceptions, has come right
She's
up
talking
to
a
the end.
lot tonight.
Without saying
Taking
anything.
away
Yeah.
protection.
Time is up, Senator.
Say
There you
Facebook.
go.
Say
In
Facebook.
America, where most people support Roe versus
Say
Wade, we need to make
Facebook.
that a federal law.
Thank you. Jose?
Change the title of our
Senator
fucking
Booker, I wanna kind of come
live
back
stream.
on a discussion
Say
we were having
Facebook,
about
the
health
Democratic
and the
debate.
opioid crisis. You represent a state
Oh,
where
wait.
14 of the
Think I could
20
get another?
largest
Thanks,
pharmaceutical
Bones.
companies are based. Should pharmaceutical companies that manufacture these drugs be held criminally
actually did hurt
liable
myself, though.
for what they do?
They should absolutely be held criminally liable because
Ugh.
they are liable and responsible. This is one of the reasons why, well before I was running for president, I said I would not take contributions from pharma companies, not take contributions from
Someone's
corporate
donating
PACs
money to
pharma
your thing.
executives because they are part
Yeah,
of
it's
this
Raytheon
problem.
or
And
it's
this opioid addiction
they're
in
all
our
dirty.
country, we in cities like mine have been seeing how
Opioids.
we've tried to arrest our way out of addiction for too
Yeah, I'm curious about this.
long. It is time that we have a national urgency to deal with this problem and make the solutions that are working to actually be the law of our land and make the pharmaceutical companies that are responsible help to pay for that.
Congressman O'Rourke, how would you deal with it?
Tonight in
I
this
didn't
country,
listen to
you
the
have
question.
2.3 million
I was too busy
of our
skateboarding.
fellow Americans behind bars. It's
I'm
the
so-
Suddenly has a
largest prison
backwards hat
population
on.
the face of the planet. Many are there for nonviolent drug crimes, including possession of marijuana, at a time that more than half the states have legalized it or decriminalized it. And yet, despite what Purdue Pharma has done, their connection to the opioid crisis and the overdose deaths that we're seeing throughout this country, they've been able to act with complete impunity and pay no consequences, not a single night in jail. Unless there's accountability and justice, this crisis
You're never sending
will
any of them to
continue.
jail,
In
dude.
my administration, we will hold them to account. We will make sure that they pay a price, and we will help those who be victims of this malfeasance in this country, get them treatment and long-term care.
I know immigration is on a lot of your minds here, and I want to talk about it.
Yeah,
I wanna talk about it.
immigration.
We'll take
Maya,
a
right?
break. We'll be back with more from Miami after this.
All right, so we'll mute that.
All right, so first thoughts. What are
well,
you
they're
thinking, Bones?
exactly what Maya is your friend here on the talk.
Yes.
Yeah,
Let's
Maya.
switch back to-
Yeah.
Maybe we should look at Trump because he'll be tweeting.
Yeah. Well,
Let's
Donald
just
Trump
have
said
it
he was
up.
going to live tweet it. Let's see what's going on here.
Yeah, let's just have it up in case, because I think he'll be saying some stuff now at least. There's nothing yet. It's
no,
really weird.
he'll get there. Probably when they start talking about immigration, he's gonna have a fucking shit fit about it. But yeah, so yeah, it's a lot of saying, like Maya said here. There's a lot of just saying absolutely nothing, and plus it's like
so stupid.
All of these people are involved. Like, you know, if Cory Booker really didn't take any pharma money, I would be surprised. But I find it.
He took money from Gilead, the leading provider of PrEP.
Right. Yeah. yeah. Or you know, or if you want to, you know, Raytheon or any of the other weapons manufacturers, it's like you took money from somewhere, dude. Like I think Andrew Yang and Tulsi are the only two that have like individual donations that have gotten them to this point.
Yeah.
All the rest of them they're so deep in politics for so long that they have taken money from people that all of us should have a fucking problem with.
Yeah. They've taken money from the cartel, probably.
Yeah, from El Chapo
That's
himself.
confirmed. That's news. That's true.
Yeah. This is yeah.
I know that for a fact. I did the study.
So yeah, well, I'm very curious to see what Trump live tweets here. We're getting a countdown here, so let's.
Oh, we already have 15 seconds? Jesus, that was so quick.
I know.
Do.
Rachel Maddow.
Ugh.
Rachel Maddow.
Yeah, fucking Russiagate hoax. Never stopped talking about it. Cried on TV over Russia. What a pathetic loser Rachel Maddow is. God, and she used to be so great. That's the saddest part, is like watching these people you liked a lot, like who are defending your rights as a gay person, just become these sad, blubbering clowns.
It's embarrassing.
Has been in the news, especially this week.
Kevin.
There are undocumented children being held.
Oh, God.
In detention. Even as close as Homestead, Florida. Right here, less than 30 miles from
Dramatic
where we are
point.
tonight. Fathers
I hate his
and
glasses.
mothers and children
They don't look good on him.
while trying
Get
to
a
enter
neutral
the
color.
United
Don't get
States
blue.
Of America. We saw that image today. It broke our hearts.
Unless blue is
They
your
had
color,
names.
but it's not his.
Oscar Martinez.
Oh,
His 23-month-old
no!
daughter Valeria
Oscar died.
It was very sad, but he's going for.
in this country.
No, you
Last
don't
month,
know
more
that.
than 130,000 migrants were apprehended at
Oscar
the southern border.
Martinez.
Secretary Castro, if you were president today,
I just want them to be honest about this. Like they
what
never,
would
they
you
won't be.
specifically do?
Oh God,
Did
he's
he
gonna...
just say oye?
Thank you very much, Jose. I'm very proud that in April.
Oh, I
became
didn't know
the
that guy
first
was Latino
candidate to
too.
put
Okay, he gets
forward a
the
comprehensive
Latino it
immigration
up
plan.
then.
And we saw those images.
Yeah.
All right, hang on.
Well,
Let's.
I've seen that
I'm a little
image
curious
of,
about this.
Oscar and his daughter Valeria is heartbreaking.
It is heartbreaking. I saw this
It
thing
should
too.
also
I'm
be
Yeah,
not-
super sad.
I'm not trying to be anti-sympathetic.
If I were president today, and it should spur us to
Unsympathetic.
action, if I were president today, I would sign an executive order that would get rid of Trump's zero tolerance policy, the Remain in Mexico policy, and the metering policy. This metering policy is basically what prompted Oscar and Valeria to make that risky swim across the river. They have been playing games with people who are coming and trying to seek asylum at our ports of entry. Oscar and Valeria went to a port of entry, and then they were denied the ability to make an asylum claim. So they got frustrated, and they tried to cross the river, and they died because of that.
On day one,
On
sorry,
day
I'm just
one,
gonna ask you
I
for
would do
30
that
seconds.
executive order that would address metering, and then I would follow that up in my first 100 days with immigration reform that would honor asylum claims, that would put undocumented.
How do you
undocumented
know
immigrants,
if it's
as
a
long as they
legitimate
haven't committed a
asylum
serious
claim,
crime,
and you all
a
want all
pathway to
this free shit
citizenship?
for people
And then we
here?
go to
You
the root
can't have
cause of
both
the issue,
things.
which is we need a Marshall Plan for Honduras and Guatemala and El Salvador.
Relax, dude.
So that
Come on.
people can find safety and opportunity at home instead of coming to the United States to seek it.
Senator
Oh,
Booker,
that's
what would
good.
Okay,
Yes.
there you go.
Okay.
And this is a situation that the next president will inherit.
La situación ahora
Oh,
es inaceptable.
no.
Este presidente
Why do they
ha
keep doing
atacado,
this?
Ha demonizado los inmigrantes. Es inaceptable y voy a cambiar
Oh,
esto.
no, stop
On
it.
Day one, I will make sure that number
Whoa,
one, we end the
I-
ICE policies and the customs
Am
and
I
border
hallucinating?
policies are
Like,
violating
have I
human
had
rights.
like 1.5
When
too
people
many
come to
beers?
this
This is
country,
gonna make
they
a
do
lot
not
of
believe
white
their
Midwesterners
human
vote
rights
for you
at the
guys. Like,
border.
seriously.
Number two,
This is
I
terrible.
will make sure that we reinstate DACA. that
Beto
we
is so
reinstate
pissed right now that he
pathways
took
to
that thunder.
citizenship for DACA
I'm
recipients
sweating.
and
This
to
is
make
like-
sure that people that are
this is
here on
unreal to
temporary
me.
protected status can stay and remain here. And then finally, we need to make sure that we address
Elizabeth Warren.
the issues that made Oscar and
She's like, I
Valeria
can't
come
fucking speak
in the
Spanish.
first place by making major
Beto's so
investments in
pissed that he got
war crime,
flexed on.
not like this president is doing, by ripping away the resources we need to actually solve this problem.
You guys have given no
surrender our
solutions.
values and
Right.
think that we're going to get border security. We actually will
Holy
lose
shit,
security
dude.
and our values. We must fight for both.
My stomach dropped when he started speaking in Spanish.
Point. You know, my plan, and I'm glad to see that Senator Booker and Senator Warren agree with me on this. My plan also includes getting rid of
Maya says, isn't it racist to ask him the immigration question and sexist to ask Warren the abortion question?
Based on the leftist metric, yes.
Oh my God, I'm so glad you're here, Maya.
To treat that as a civil violation. And here's why it's important. We see all of this horrendous family separation. They use that law, Section 1325,
That's my last name.
to justify under the law separating little children from their families.
Look up how many humans are trafficked from Mexico in like children. Children are trafficked. The United States has the highest human trafficking behind Mexico and the Philippines right now of any other country.
Yeah.
And so they pretend that these are just children and mothers. No, it's not. It's so much more complicated than that.
Cities all across this country where parents are afraid to even drop their kids off to school or go to work. We must end those policies.
You're lying.
About immigration in this country, because look at the bottom line here. That tragic photo of those.
You don't
Speak in Spanish. Speak in Spanish.
And I'm saying this as a father. Every American should feel that in their heart, and every American should say that is not America. Those are not our values, but we have to get under the skin of why we have this crisis in our system, because we're not being honest about
He's got periodontitis.
They're a mess, yeah.
The way that American citizens have been
the
told
black
that
space
immigrants
between 'em.
somehow created their misery and their pain and their challenges. For all the American citizens out there who feel you're falling behind, who feel the American dream's not working for you, the immigrants didn't do that to you.
Oh, no, no.
The 1% did that to you.
Automation is doing that.
Party of working people, and that includes a party of immigrants. But first, we have to tell working people in America who are hurting that we're going to be on their side every single time.
You're not convincing them at all right now.
This mess to begin with. And remind people we're all in this
Who
together.
are you convincing of the people that actually you need to vote for you?
We won't get all these reforms people are talking about. That's what we need to do as Democrats.
I really appreciate when they finish on a sentence, though, when they don't let themselves get cut off, but they have like
they want their clap moment.
Yeah, exactly.
Day one at the White House.
Oh boy.
Vamos a tratar
No!
respeto y dignidad que merecen como humanos. We would not turn back Valeria and her father Oscar. We would accept them into this country and follow.
I need
our
some
own
air.
silence. We would not build
If you just assume that all asylum claims are true, then the border is open. Like, don't you? They're lying to you.
And we would not criminally prosecute any
We can't have free college. We can't have any of the Bernie Sanders shit you all want if we have an open border.
Exactly. Exactly.
But let him finish. Let him finish, please. Yes.
We would not detain any family fleeing violence, in fact, fleeing the deadliest countries on the face of the planet today. We would implement a family case management program
I agree,
so they
Tom.
could be cared for in the community at a fraction of the cost. And then we would rewrite our immigration laws in our own image. Free dreamers forever from any fear of deportation
I
by
agree.
making them U.S. citizens here in
Yeah,
this
I
country.
agree. I agree.
Invest in solutions in Central America, work with regional stakeholders so there's no
So that's
reason
exactly.
to make that 2,000-mile journey to this country.
There you go.
That's
Let's
okay.
be very clear. The reason that they're separating these little children from their families is that they're using Section 1325 of that act, which criminalizes coming across the border, to incarcerate the parents and then separate them.
The president.
Some of us on this stage have called to end that section, to terminate
Okay,
it.
Julian. Then we incarcerate the children with adults.
And I want to challenge all
In a
of
s-
the
And then the children get abused.
Yeah.
I just think it's a mistake, Bethel. I think it's a mistake.
Of course, the
I think
children
that-
are separate.
that you
If
truly
a
wanna
child
change
breaks
the
the law, do
system,
they go to
then we gotta
prison?
repeal
Typically,
that
unless they do
section.
something horrendous, they typically
Right.
go to juvenile detention.
Let me respond to this very briefly. Actually, as a member of Congress,
It's not the kid's
I helped
fault,
to introduce
but-
legislation that would ensure that we don't criminalize those who are seeking asylum and refuge in this country. If you're fleeing desperation, then I want to make sure
You can't prove asylum claims.
You're looking at just one small part of this. I'm talking about a comprehensive rewrite of our immigration laws. And if we do that, I don't think it's asking too much for people to follow our laws when they come to this country.
I hate this.
A lot of folks that are coming are not seeking asylum. A lot of them are undocumented immigrants.
Yes.
Right? And you said recently that the reason you didn't want to repeal Section 1325 was because you were concerned about human trafficking and drug trafficking. But let me tell you what. Section 18, Title 18 of the U.S. Code, Title 21, and Title 22 already cover human trafficking.
These people don't have documents proving that it's their children. Right. No one knows unless they do a DNA test.
This is an issue that we should and could be talking about for a long time, and we will for a long time.
Can we talk about the conditions?
They just know they're on the wrong side of this issue.
Because Savannah, sorry.
They know it.
It's just we could go on.
But rather than talk
But they can't do anything about it. They're stuck.
Look at that lady in the back. She was laughing. She was like,
and what are we going to do to actually make a difference in this country?
Congressman, you'll get your chance. Let's continue the discussion.
Yeah, I don't want to talk to Skin Suit
Senator
anymore.
Klobuchar, yes. Let's talk about what Secretary Castro
where's
just
Tulsi
said.
Gabbard?
He wants to
I know.
no longer have it be a crime
I already
to
know what she has to say about
illegally
it.
cross the border. Do you support that? Do you think it should be a civil offense only? And if so, do you worry about potentially incentivizing people to come here?
Right.
Immigrants, they do not diminish America. They are America. And I am happy to look at his proposal.
That's not really what anyone's saying.
To make sure that you have
it's just an
provisions in place
unchecked
that allow
flood
you to
of
go
people.
after traffickers and allow you to go after people who are violating the law. What I really think we need to step back and talk about is the economic imperative here. And that is that 70 of our Fortune 500 companies are headed up by people that came from other countries. 25% of our U.S. Nobel laureates were born in other countries. We have a situation right now where we need workers in our fields and in our factories.
But they came here
we need them to start
legally.
Small businesses. We need their ideas. And this president has literally gone backwards at a time when our economy needs immigrants. And so my proposal
That's not the right use of that word.
Just to be clear to everybody who's listening to this, Ellis Island is not the example to use because at that time there was about 50 million people in this country and now there are 350 million.
Yeah.
So it was a very different time where we had a vast amount of land and space.
Right.
And we also didn't have any entitlement programs. We had no welfare. We had none of these things. And all of these programs that are liberal ideas have made it so liberals should be a little stricter on immigration.
I agree with, Secretary Castro. I think there are other provisions in the law.
Who are you?
That will
Tim
allow you to
Ryan.
prosecute
It's
people for
Paul
coming
Ryan's
over
brother.
here if they're dealing in drugs and other things. That's already established.
Wait, did
in
Paul
the law.
Ryan have a dick pic
So there's
leak?
no need to
Was that his
repeat it.
thing?
And I
A
think
dick
it's
pic? No, that was
important
Anthony
we're talking
Weiner.
about
Ah, Anthony
this
Weiner.
Which is just too perfect.
Who got killed with his daughter. And the issues here, the way these kids are being treated, if you go to Guantanamo Bay, there are terrorists that are held that get better health care than those kids that have tried to cross the border in the United States.
How did we get back here?
That needs to stop. And I think the president should immediately
Because they're in our
doctors and nurses
That's
to
our
go
jurisdiction.
immediately down to the border and start taking care of these kids. What kind of country are we running here where we have a president of the United States
Okay, dude,
who's so
then end
focused on
every
hate
fucking war.
and fear
So you're going to
and
end
division,
every war that we're in
and
right
what
now.
has
Look at the
happened now, the end
stitching on
result
his
is now
jacket.
we've got
It's
kids
hideous.
literally laying in their own
Look
snot
how bad
with
that is.
3-week-old diapers that haven't been changed.
Yeah, that's really
We've
bad.
got to tell
That's
this president
why would you do
is
that?
not a
Right
sign
here,
of
especially.
strength, Mr.
It's
President.
too close,
That
and then
is
it
a
gets
sign
too
of
far.
weakness.
It's a cheap suit.
It is cheap.
But no, a lot
I feel
of
bad
people-
for him a little bit. I don't-
They ask the
Oh, did you
question,
see that camera
if you're
pan?
President on day one, what will you do with the fact that you will have families here? There's been a lot of talk about what you'll do in the first 100 days, about legislation. What
He looks
will
pretty
you
sharp.
actually
His
do with these
suit.
families?
He's got a good suit.
How
Pretty
will you
nice,
care
yeah.
for them? Will they be detained or will they not be?
Well, this is a related and brief
Tom,
point
you're crushing it.
because what we're talking about, what Secretary Castro and I are talking about, is that we have the power to better deal with this problem through the civil process than the criminal process. I have been to some of the largest private prisons, which are repugnant to me, that people are profiting off incarceration.
I agree.
and their
Yeah,
immigration
that's a good
lockups.
point. I'm glad he's talking about
Our country
it.
has made so many mistakes by criminalizing things, whether it's immigration, whether it's mental illness, whether it's addiction. We know that this is not the way to deal with problems. There is a humane way that affirms human rights and human dignity and actually solve this problem. Donald Trump isn't solving this
And
problem.
what is the
We've
way?
seen
Tell me
under
what the
his
way
leadership
is.
a surge at our border. We solve this problem by making investments in the Northern Triangle to stop the reasons why people are being driven here in the first place. And we make sure we use our resources to provide health care, to affirm the values and human dignity of the people that come here, because we cannot sacrifice our values,
What
our ideals
is
as
your
a nation for
plan?
border security. We can have both by doing this the right way.
All right.
What's the right way?
Governor Inslee on this. What would you do on day one? Same question I just asked Cory Booker. I have yet to hear an answer from anyone on this stage.
Fuck.
She's crushing it.
Yeah, she is.
Savannah Guthrie for the win.
Have yet to hear an answer.
Yes, there is a reason.
Pending their hearings, and they should have a hearing, and the law should be followed.
They don't show up to the hearings.
And we should do what we're doing in Washington State.
If they don't show up, they're out.
Passed a law that prevents local law enforcement from being turned into mini ICE agents. I'm proud to have been the first governor to stand up against Donald Trump's heinous Muslim ban. I'm proud to be a person who's not only talked about Dreamers, but being one of the first to make sure that they get a college education so that they can realize their
that shouldn't
dreams.
have happened.
These are some of the most inspirational people.
They should
in
not
our
have gotten
state.
college
And I'll
subsidies.
give you
Really?
this
No.
thought, if you want to know what
They
I
should be
think.
made legal citizens because it wasn't their fault, but they shouldn't have been given benefits. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I don't get those benefits.
Right, and
He would send
you're an
refugees
American.
to
Right.
Washington State if we passed the law that I passed. And I told him that's not a threat at all. We welcome refugees into our state. We recognize diversity as a strength. This is how we built America. That tradition is going to continue if I'm president.
Where is the policy, the legislation?
No, let Tulsi answer.
My grandfather was actually separated from his family when he came to this country.
We're going to talk about Iran right
No
now.
one
because
cares.
We're working against the clock.
Iran.
Tankers have been attacked. A U.S. drone has been shot
Tulsi
down. There
Gabbard,
have been
first
disturbing
person.
threats
They have to go to her.
issued by both
Go
the
to her.
U.S. and Iranian leadership. I'd like, if you can, just for a moment, to put aside how you think we may have gotten here, but what I want to know is how do you dial it back? So a show of hands,
Tulsi,
who is president
Tulsi,
would sign
Tulsi.
on to the 2015 nuclear deal as
No.
it was originally negotiated?
No.
Oh, Tulsi raised her hand.
Well, Senator Booker, why not?
May I address that? First and foremost, it was a mistake to pull out of that deal. And one of the reasons why we're seeing this hostility now is because Donald Trump is marching
I'm gonna
us
see if he
to a
says
far
why
more
I don't like
dangerous
it.
situation. Literally, he took us out of a deal that gave us transparency into their nuclear program and
It
pushed
didn't.
back a nuclear breakout 10, 20 years. And now we see
But who
Iran
cares if they
threatening to
have
go further
nukes? It's
into
a
a
negotiating
even
tool.
further
No
and
one's going to
further into
use
this
them.
crisis. We need to renegotiate and get back into a deal, but I'm not going to have a primary platform to say unilaterally I'm going to rejoin that deal, because when I'm president of the United States, I'm going to do the best I can to secure this country and that region and make sure that if I have an opportunity to leverage a better deal, I'm going to do it.
All right,
Get
Senator
real
Tulsi, I'd like
close
you
to the
answer that
mic.
question because you said you would negotiate.
Maya,
this
where they have to
back
ask
the
everything as a
Iranian
question?
agreement. Can you
Answer
argue
everything as a
that
question?
nuclear
What
pact,
is
as it was ratified,
immigration?
was a good deal?
Yes, it was.
Well,
was
Alex.
imperfect, but it was a good deal for that moment. I would have worked to get longer
Every
sunset
country
periods,
that can
and
have
that's
nuclear
something we could
weapons wants to
negotiate,
have them
to get
because
back
it's
in
a
the deal.
negotiating
But the
tool.
point
I don't
is
think that
Donald
anybody,
Trump told us when
people
he got
understand
out of it
mutually
that
assured
he was gonna
destruction.
give us a
Right.
So
better
if
deal
Iran
over
launched a
his
nuke at
word.
us,
And now
Iran
we
would
are
not be
month
a
away
place anymore.
From the Iranians
It's just
playing
to
now
have
way
you have
below
a
the
negotiating
cap on
tactic.
What if we
enriching,
developed something
uranium.
even
And the
stronger
Iranians have
than
told
a
us
nuclear
this.
weapon?
And so that's where we are right now.
Let's
He
call
has
it, say,
made
like
us
an
less
N-bomb.
safe than we were when he became president. So what I would
And it's
do
made-
is
I mean,
negotiate
it's
us back into that
made-
agreement.
throwback to our
It's
last
done with
podcast. That seems to be
and
the most
not give
weaponized thing that's ever existed.
leverage to China and Russia, which is what he has done. And then, finally, I would make sure that if there is
This is a
any
placeholder
possibility
name.
of a
Yeah,
conflict,
and
and we're having this
an
debate in
N-bomb,
Congress right
Nagasaki
now,
bomb,
that he comes
Something
to
like
Congress
that.
for
You're getting closer.
authorization
Negro
of military
Modelo?
force.
You're getting
I
very
would do
close.
that. And this president is literally every single day 10 minutes away from going to war, one tweet away from going to war.
No,
and
I don't think so.
We should conduct foreign policy
is up.
in our bathrobe at 5 in the morning,
Congresswoman
which is
Gabbard,
what he does.
Congresswoman Gabbard,
Fuck. Gabbard.
you said you would sign back onto the 2015 deal. Would you insist, though, that it address Iran's support for Hezbollah?
Let's deal with the
Whoa.
situation where we are, where this president and his chicken hawk cabinet have led us to the brink
John
of
Bolton.
war with
Yes.
Iran. I served in the war at the height of the war in 2005, a war that took over 4,000 of my brothers and sisters in uniforms lives.
For no reason.
The American people need to understand that this war with Iran would be far more devastating, far more costly than anything that we ever saw in Iraq. It would take many more lives. It would exacerbate the refugee crisis. And it wouldn't be just contained within Iran. This would turn into a regional
Russia.
War. This is why it's so important that every one of us, every single American, stand up and say, no war with Iran. We need to get back into the Iran nuclear agreement.
Yes.
And we need to negotiate how we can improve it. It was an imperfect deal. There are issues like their missile development that needs to be addressed. We can do both simultaneously to prevent Iran from developing a nuclear weapon and preventing us from going to war.
Time is up, and I have just a very quick follow-up. Well, what would your red line be for military action against Iran?
She wouldn't.
Look, obviously, if there was an attack against the American, our troops, then there would have to be a response.
Yeah.
But my point is, and it's important for us to recognize
they don't
this,
want that, though.
is Donald Trump and his cabinet, Mike Pompeo, John Bolton, and others,
Yes.
are creating a situation that just
Demons.
This is exactly what we talked about in our last podcast.
Which is
Yes.
incredibly dangerous. That's why we need to de-escalate tensions. Trump needs to get back into the Iran nuclear deal and swallow his pride. Put the American people first.
Hey, but wait a minute.
All right, we are
Yes.
out of time. We're up against a hard break, but we will have much
Shut
more.
up, de Blasio, you stupid fuckface.
The commercial is coming. We will continue our questioning next.
They turned off his mic.
Fucking idiot.
We'll have a lot more with some very
All right,
anxious
let's check in with
candidates
Trump.
just ahead.
All right. Wow. Well, Tulsi is handling herself so well. She is stuttering a little, which makes me nervous because people will nitpick about that.
Yeah, I noticed the stream. It's not lagging on our end. I think it might be just through our software. I'm sorry about that, guys. I noticed it on my little box.
No, I'm actually watching the stream myself, and it is lagging.
Oh, okay, good. It wasn't lagging when we were watching it, though. That's weird.
No, I know. It's weird. I don't know what it is.
Are you watching our stream?
Yes.
Oh, I think it's just it was our software. Maybe.
Yeah, I'm just following along in case anything happens. But has anything happened on Trump's Twitter?
I'm not. Let's see. We'll load it here.
This is so odd. Oh, boring! Jesus Christ. He's kind of right.
He is
9
right.
out of 10 of them are just so boring.
Well, yeah.
That is so... That's it. That's all he has to say.
That's all I needed to see. Yeah, that's perfect.
He's right in a way. It's boring.
Yeah.
They aren't providing anything.
Can you talk to the audience while I go take a piss?
Yeah, go for it. They just aren't providing anything. You get these candidates who, you want to squeeze past me? Okay, cool. But we get all these empty answers, and I was actually... God, I'm just so, I'm looking forward to tomorrow's, because the other 10, I think, are going up tomorrow. It's Joe Biden, Kamala Harris. I think Andrew Yang is on there. Bernie Sanders will be there. Actually, I'm not sure if Andrew Yang made it. I should look that up. But I'm wondering, because Kamala Harris has been sort of at the forefront, and so is Joe Biden, and I'm just not sure who the DNC is really behind right now. It seems like at the beginning we saw a lot of Elizabeth Warren. However, towards the last half of that, after that first commercial break, we lost Elizabeth Warren, so there wasn't really any focus on her. Did you notice that, Jordan? How Elizabeth Warren wasn't talking really at all for that second segment after the first commercial break?
No, probably because she's got something to do with war and
yeah,
probably doesn't want to make any of her immigration. Well, and also too, all their immigration comments are such platitudes and bullshit. It's look at this fuckhead, this graph.
His graph. The thing is, I think the DNC is gonna pick a candidate like they did last time with Hillary,
and they're gonna
fuck
shaft
over everybody else.
Of course.
And Bernie got totally fucked, and I really hope he's honest tomorrow about it.
He won't be. No, I've completely lost all respect for him,
dude.
Honestly, I voted for him in the primaries, and then had to vote for that horrible woman, in the main thing, just because
Right.
at the time it felt like the right thing to do.
Hashtag gays for Hillary.
Oh yeah, God.
I used that hashtag.
Tyler Oakley. But yeah. So, it's yeah, Tom. Tulsi Gabbard is definitely because
she is leaps and bounds ahead of everybody
and it's the same with Andrew Yang too. It's because they both have some might see their plan as radical, but it's actually a plan instead of just saying we have an immigration problem in this country and I'm gonna take care of it. Yeah.
There you go.
And you're like, what are you going to do, fuckface? And so Tulsi Gabbard's like, no more fucking wars. You want all these fucking reforms and all this shit, and you want free healthcare. The two things are you got to lock the border down and you have to get the fuck out of wars. That's the two things you have to do. The only thing about Andrew Yang and Tulsi Gabbard I don't like is their stance on the Second Amendment, but
Whatever.
It doesn't surprise me.
Guns will never get taken away from Americans.
Well,
there's too many of us.
Yeah.
For them to take away our guns.
Agreed.
If we were a small country like Nicaragua, where it's happening right
now.
But
the tough thing was Bernie was super pro Second Amendment until it wasn't convenient anymore. So like up until about 2015. So
yeah,
it's not like it's impossible for somebody to be like even a democratic socialist like him and still be in support of it. But oh god,
right?
Really, we're looking at Hillary Clinton. Could we just not talk about her ever again?
I'm so done with talking about Hillary. I'm done with talking about Obama. That was fucking 4.5 years ago. It's like, or however many fucking, I've lost track of time. But like, why do we still talk about them? We have these lasting effects, yes.
And they only hurt our party at this point because we just have found out how fucking flawed they were and are. Okay, here we go.
Dude, oh, we're back already? Jesus Christ, dude.
Bum bum ba-dum, gung gung America bum.
It's like the NFL lineup when you see each person with a football.
I wish they had like the dramatic turn, like they do in the football things, with the graphics and shit around them.
Oh my god.
And welcome back, everyone, to the first Democratic presidential debate from the Arts Center in Miami.
And as we continue the questioning, time to get more members of our team in the mix.
So right now, let's turn it over.
Look at this woman in the corner.
Oh god, her face. She's looking right at us.
Ew! Oh, the two worst fucking people on TV.
20 candidates qualified for this first Democratic debate. We're going to hear from 10
Who's that
tonight,
cute boy?
10 more tomorrow. The breakdown for each night was selected at random. Now, the candidates will have 60 seconds to answer, 30 seconds for a follow-up if necessary, and we will be ruthless if necessary.
Yeah, we can do that.
Okay.
By the way, hi, Rachel.
Hi, Chuck.
How you doing?
Ew.
And we've got a lot of ground to cover. We're going to be
Is
talking
he
about
gay?
guns and climate
He's
here.
no, he's not. But he's terrible. They're both terrible.
Obviously, because of the size of the field, not every person will be able to weigh in on everything. But over the course of this next hour, we will hear.
Wait, what's happening now?
I promise everybody. And to begin with, we're going to go with guns. And Senator Warren, I want to.
He just said that not everybody will talk about.
They're gonna talk about guns.
From Parkland, Florida, where 17 people were killed in a school shooting last year, and where there has been significant activism on gun violence ever since.
She's so ready.
Many of you are calling for a restoration of an assault weapons ban. But even if implemented, there will still be hundreds of millions of guns in this country. Should there be a role for the federal government? Everybody's mics are on. I think we have a. I heard that too. That's okay.
Yeah.
I think we have a little
How
mic issue in the
embarrassing.
back.
Go ahead.
We've got
We have the. I think we heard. Yeah, we have the audience audio.
Yeah, it's like actually peaking. It's so high.
Really bad.
We're from. I apologize, you guys didn't get to hear this.
Oh my God.
First part of the question.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Obviously, we're not far from Parkland, Florida.
There we go.
Gun activism has become a big part of high school life up there in Broward County. Many of you are calling for tighter gun restrictions. Some of you are calling for the restoration of the assault weapons ban. But even if it's put in place, there's still going to be perhaps hundreds of millions of guns still on the streets. Is there a role for the federal government in order to get these guns off the streets?
No, you'll never be able to do it. Never. And before they start talking, because of all these audio issues, people will be able to 3D print anything they want in their house in the next 15 years. CNC machines will become more affordable. You are never, ever, ever going to stop this problem. And also, the likelihood of you being killed in a shooting or like a gun-related incident is like 0.00019. So.
We are going to take a quick break.
Oh,
to get
Jesus.
this technical situation fixed.
Wow.
We'll be right back.
Oh God.
It was the Russians. Rachel, the Russians did this to you. Russian interference.
Oh my God.
Rachel Maddow was such a fucking embarrassment.
That was really bad. That was really embarrassing.
Yeah, oh my God, Trump probably has something to say about that. Let's find out. Let's see how quick his old fat thumbs are.
Jesus, his wrinkly ass. That's
Just
it.
boring.
All he said is boring. 26 minutes. 26 minutes.
There's
ago.
some psychopath who always comments on everything. Honestly, yes. Oh, Mike Gravel.
Which one is Mike Gravel?
He's a very liberal. He's a senator from Alaska. And
was he the one who was running?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember him.
Honestly, yes. That is really.
He didn't make it to the stage, did he?
I don't. Dude, he's so old, and he's also really slow. And so I don't think that he would really have much interest. But I think that he enjoyed the meme of it all, and he would retweet Tulsi a lot and Andrew and things like that. So, but that's pretty fucking funny that Mike Gravel. Neononi says, "I'm literally cleaning my AR-15 as I watch this." God bless you.
Oh Jesus.
God bless you, sir. I know a lot of people who listen to this are not as pro-gun as I am. I grew up around them. I have a respect for them. I love them as kind of just simple machines that just, again, it's like, so again, like the left wants to talk about the small likelihood you'll be killed in a terrorist attack, and it's nearly comparable to that of a gun related incident. And the majority, like, you see those huge numbers, like 75,000 a year, and like they don't account for how many of those are suicide and or like accidents or just unsecured weapons. But the reality is there are more guns in this country than there are people.
Yeah.
And so like someone
There's
like
twice as many guns in Florida than there are people.
Yes, I believe that.
Yeah.
Someone like Neon Oni, who owns AR-15s, so if he is somebody who's never broken the law concerning these weapons, you're going to make an assault weapons ban and then make it a felony. You're going to make him a felon overnight. Is that what you're going to do?
Right.
Like, that's the best way to play this. There are obvious things like banning automatic weapons. Yeah, and bump stocks was even one that I was skeptical. Neon Oni, he thinks they shouldn't have been banned, but I watched some video of a guy demonstrating it, and it makes a weapon automatic.
Yeah.
And so I was kind of like,
scary.
yeah. But the reality is like, again, I think that people, this is like where I think someone like Andrew Yang could really attack this in an interesting way of like, you will be able to 3D print a bump stock. So like, if you really, if there's a will, there's a way. Like if you really want to inflict violence on somebody in the most catastrophic way possible, you're going to find a way to do it. So even if you ban guns, then they're going to use
the same for fucking everything.
But restriction never
exactly.
I think that really the only obvious things in this country that need to be completely illegal are like rape, child molestation, and murder.
I saw this TED Talk actually that or this clip from a TED Talk.
Oh, about the pedophilia thing.
Yeah. I'm very conflicted because people were so misinterpreting what she was saying.
I know. I think that it's one of those things of
these people need treatment.
There does seem to be like a broken brain element of it.
Yeah.
And it's like, if you're somebody who comes out and says like, look, I have not touched any kids, but I have these pervasive thoughts, like similar to a serial killer.
I don't want them.
Or someone who has murderous thoughts or whatever, like, please help me. I think it is worthy of study to try to figure out like what exactly is happening in their brain that causes this weird paraphilia where they're attracted to children. And so it's a tough one. But
it is tough. I'm very conflicted.
But again, like making it super normal, like how like NAMBLA is trying to weasel their way into, that's a serious fucking problem. So, but since like there's this country seems to be riddled with them, in Hollywood and the church and whatever, I think it's something that I'm curious as to why there's so fucking many of them.
Yeah.
I mean, number one. So.
Anyway, we got 8 seconds. Let's get
I don't even want this fucking trailer to play.
Let's look at AOC.
Plays music or something.
Is AOC here? Is she here tonight?
I hope she's.
I think she might be. Actually, I'm gonna pull up her Twitter.
I hope she's taking a massive dose of fentanyl right now.
We believe we have the technical difficulties fixed.
Never say that.
Never say never, but we will
God
march forward here. And
damn it! I hope you both die in a fire so much.
Senator Warren, we're going to get to the gun question here. Parkland,
oh, she hasn't tweeted in 5 days.
It's just north of here in Broward County.
Oh, yeah, she's in some trouble, actually.
A lot of teenage activism on the gun issue.
Oh, God.
It has inspired a lot of you to come out with more robust plans to deal with guns, including assault weapons ban. But even if you're able to implement that, what do you do about the hundreds of millions of guns already out there?
Nothing. You can't do anything about it.
She's not going to have an answer for this.
So, in this period of time that I've been running for president,
she's going to talk about Australia.
I've had
Watch.
more than 100 town halls. I've taken more than 2,000 unfiltered questions.
No one cares.
And the
Just
single
answer
hardest
the question.
I've gotten.
Wait.
I got one from a little boy and I got one from a little girl. And
oh
that
boy.
is to say, when you're president, how are you going to keep us safe?
Yeah, their parents didn't make them do that at all.
That's our responsibility as adults. 7 children will die today from gun violence, children and teenagers. And they won't just die in mass shootings. They'll die on sidewalks, they'll die in playgrounds, they'll die in people's backyards.
Because of gang violence?
Is a national health emergency
true.
In this country.
She can't hear you.
I know she.
So what can we do? We can do the things that are sensible.
Are you Lester Holt?
Background checks.
Because of gang violence.
But we can
gang
also
violence.
double down on the research and find out what really works, where it is that we can make the differences at the margins that will keep our children
I don't
safe.
either, Maya.
We need to treat this like the virus that's killing our children.
Yeah, so no answer. Nothing. She said
The
nothing.
government needs to go and figure out a way to get the guns that are already out there.
What I think we need to do is we need to treat it like a serious research problem, which we have not done. You know, guns in the hands of a collector who's had them for decades, who's never fired, who takes safety seriously, that's very different from guns that are sold and turned over quickly. We can't treat this as an across-the-board problem. We have to treat it like a public health emergency. That means bring data to bear, and it means make real change in this country.
And people are going to clap.
Politically popular or not.
Senator Booker, you have a program.
There you go.
Pretty tepid, though.
You have a federal government buyback program in your plan.
Buyback program.
How is that going
to work? A bareback program.
Well, first of all, I want to say.
I mean, do you know about the gay rumors about him, right?
No, I didn't actually.
What's even worse is I hear
someone like Me Too'd him, who's a man.
Oh shit!
I think I'm the only one. I hope I'm.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah.
Panel here that had 7 people shot in their neighborhood just last week. Someone I knew, Shahad Smith, was killed with an assault rifle at the top of my block last year. For millions of Americans, this is not a policy issue. This is an urgency. And for those who have not been directly affected, they're tired of living in a country where their kids go to school to learn about reading, writing, and arithmetic, and how to deal with an active shooter in their school. This is something that I'm tired of, and I'm tired of hearing people, all they have to offer is thoughts and prayers. In my faith, people say faith without
very
works
cold
is
take.
dead.
People have been saying this for years.
I know.
But the reason we have a problem right now is we've let the corporate gun lobby frame this debate. It is time that we have bold actions and a bold
You have sucked
agenda.
all the oxygen out of it, and you've gotten nothing because you say nothing.
This is not about policy. This is personal.
Thank you, Senator Booker.
Oh, that's cute.
I'd like to talk to you about something that Senator Booker just mentioned.
That's really
the
cute.
idea of active shooter drills in schools. The school shootings
Thanks, Kevin.
seem like an almost every day or every week occurrence now. They don't make a complete news cycle anymore, no matter the death toll. As parents are so afraid as their kids go off to school that their kids will be caught up in something like this.
Can you read them?
Next to nothing has changed in federal law that might affect the prevalence of school shootings. Is this a problem that is going to continue to get worse over our lifetimes, or is there something that you would do as president that you really think would turn it around?
Yeah, Rachel, I'm the dad of a 10-year-old girl, Karina, who's here tonight.
Oh, Julian.
And the worst thing is knowing
Talk
that
faster.
your child might be worried about what could happen at school, a place that's supposed to be safe. The answer to your question is no, we don't have to accept that. And I believe that on January 20th, 2021, at 12:01 p.m., we're going to have a Democratic president, a Democratic House, and a Democratic Senate.
Someone check if that's the right date.
And also,
he already said trans
no
male.
answer. So like, no one's talking about the advent of the internet, people getting radicalized on the internet, young men being told that they're worthless, they have no use, and so their last resort is to just do something super fucking violent, and then MSNBC will read their manifesto live on air, so they become infamous overnight.
Yes, dude.
The House took a vote.
Yes.
No one's saying that.
In the
No
Senate,
one.
the question often is if the decision is between 60 votes, a filibuster, or passing common sense gun reform, I'm going to choose common
it's
sense
about the
gun
same
reform.
speed.
So I believe that we're going to be able to get that done in 2021.
Secretary Castro, thank you.
Rachel, I have something to add to this briefly.
We'll give you 30 seconds for
Neononi, I think several of them look like they have extra chromosomes.
Hey, we share the same last name. Don't say that about another Castro.
I support all the gun reforms here.
You guys are causing so much trouble for us.
He's blood. Dude,
we need
kin.
trauma-based care in every school.
We are kin,
We need
yeah.
social and emotional learning in every school.
Wait a minute. Emotional
The
learning.
shooters who do school shootings come from the school they're in, and 73% of them feel shamed,
Wait a minute.
traumatized, or bullied.
Okay.
We need to make sure that these kids feel connected to
Yes.
the school.
Yes, okay.
That means
Wow.
a mental health counselor in every
Thank
single
you.
school in the United States. We need
This
to
is
start
surprising.
playing offense. If our kids are so traumatized that they're getting a gun and going into our schools,
There
we're
you
doing
go.
something wrong too. And we
All
need
right,
reform
nobody,
around
you
trauma-based
crushed it.
Congressman O'Rourke, you're a
Tim
Texas
Ryan,
who's
right?
campaigned
Good, yeah, Tim, that was
all
good.
over
Very
the
good.
state in 2018 in the most conservative parts there. What do you tell a gun owner who's may agree with you on everything
He has no
else,
fucking clue.
okay, but says, you know what, the Democrats, if I vote
Dude,
for
you're
them
in
in there,
Texas.
they're
Like, you
gonna
didn't win in
take my
Texas because you
gun
probably have a
away.
shitty take on this.
And even though I agree with you on all these other issues, how do you have that conversation?
Here's how we had that conversation in Texas. I shared with them what I learned from those students who survived the Santa Fe High School shooting. A young student named Bree, her friend Marcel, who survived another shooting, the mother of a victim who lost her life, Rhonda Hart. They talked about universal background checks where you close every loophole. We know that they save lives. Talked about ending the sales of assault weapons into our communities. Those weapons of war were designed to kill people as effectively and as efficiently as possible.
They are semi-automatic rifles.
Not in our communities.
They with cosmetic differences that make them look different. Like a wooden hunting rifle that shoots semi-automatic is the same round that is used in an AR-15. They are exactly the same weapon.
Is it Democrats and independents and Republicans, gun owners and non-gun owners alike agreed? But this effort must be led by the young people that you referenced at the beginning of this issue. Those students from Marjorie Stoneman Douglas led the charge here in Florida, and they've been able to change those laws. They're making our democracy work, ensuring that our values and our interests and our priorities are reflected in the laws that we pass.
No answer. None.
Congressman O'Rourke, hang on. Let me give 30 seconds. Senator Klobuchar,
look at Tulsi. She's not doing the pointing or trying to get anything into this.
Gun confiscation, right? If the government is
yeah, Kevin, me too.
How do you not have that conversation?
Well, that's not confiscation. You would give them the offer to buy back their gun. But I'll say this: I look at these proposals and I say, does this hurt my Uncle Dick in his deer stand, coming from a proud hunting and fishing state? These proposals
that's
don't
interesting.
Do that. When I was a prosecutor, I supported the assault weapon ban. When I was in the Senate, I saw those moms from Sandy Hook come and try to advocate for change, and we all failed. And then now these Parkland kids from Florida, they started literally a national shift. You know why? It's just like with gay marriage. When kids talk to their parents,
Neononi, the Santa Fe shooter used a revolver and a shotgun, yet Beta said he spoke to students about assault weapons. I'm glad you're here for this reason, because you'll know more about this stuff than I am. And here's the other thing too. Cho, the guy who shot up Virginia Tech, used 2 handguns and killed 32 people.
Yep, there you go.
Achievement as Senate Majority Leader was preventing President Obama from filling a Supreme Court seat. Having served with Republicans on the Judiciary Committee, do you believe they would confirm your court nominees?
You can't, can you?
I'm going to use 20 of my seconds just to say there's one thing
Kevin,
we
maybe.
agree with when it comes to guns, and I think it's common sense, and over 70% of Americans agree with me. If you need a license to drive a car, you should need a license to buy and own a firearm. And not everybody in this
I know Neononi's going to hate me for saying this, but I actually...
You agree with that?
Not completely, but...
It makes sense.
I know.
Dude, a car can kill just as many people as a gun.
I know. It's a tough one, but it's like the one argument they have that has some weight.
Secretary Castro, we are going to get to 50 votes in the Senate. This is a team sport. Whoever is our nominee needs to campaign in places like South Carolina, because we can elect Jamie Harrison. They need to campaign in places like Iowa, because
I want to talk more about that, actually. The license
about
thing.
getting us back to having 50 votes in the Senate and more, so that we can not only
not necessarily
balance the
now,
Supreme
but
Court, but start to pass an aggressive agenda that, frankly, isn't so aggressive because most of America agrees with the policy objectives of our party.
Mayor de Blasio, I want to jump in on this. Congressman Delaney,
oh my
I'll
God.
have some time in a moment on this issue.
I love you too, Neononi.
I'll give you some time in a moment. Mayor de Blasio, as an executive in the largest city in this country, you are used to saying what you want to have happen and having it happen. If you nominate a Supreme Court nominee as President of the United States and Mitch McConnell is still Senate Majority Leader, what makes you believe that he would allow you to make a nominee?
Rachel, I am chief executive of the nation's largest city, and I also want to just say something quick on the gun issue and come to your question. Look, I run the largest police force in America, too, and if we're going to stop these shootings, we're going to get these guns off the street, we have to have a very different relationship between our police and our community. I also want to say there's something that sets me apart.
Yeah, who cares about what he's saying? I don't know how long our camera batteries will last, so
that's the thing.
Yeah, we'll see. I actually don't know if they'll make it all the way through this. It'll be an interesting test.
Yeah, how long is this supposed to be?
I think 3 hours.
Jesus.
I'm having fun, so I don't mind sticking around. So
I'm gonna be really fucking hungry though.
Yeah, and sweaty.
Oh, I didn't bring another shirt.
Oh, well, you can borrow one.
No, I'll just go shirtless.
So we need to have a different conversation.
Well, the whole
in this country
license,
about
I think
guns,
I can
but
talk
also
about it
different
because we don't care about this
conversation
dude.
about
But
policing that brings police and
the whole
community
license to
together.
have a
We've
gun
done
thing,
that
it's
in New
like
York City,
you have to
and
have a
we've
certain
driven
number
down
of hours
crime
in
while
most
we've done
states
it.
of
But
driving
what's about Mitch
in order to
McConnell?
know how to
There's a
operate a
political
car.
solution
You
that
have
we
to
have to come to grips
practice.
with.
I
The
think
Democrats-
And
the
you
fear
have
the
to practice a gun.
the
Like,
counter argument is that if the government knows what you have, if they choose to become tyrannical, they know who has what and they can seize it.
Okay.
So, like, I don't necessarily agree with that
Right.
position, but that's where they're coming from, and I have a lot of empathy for that argument. I think I understand it.
Yeah.
Senator Warren, I'm going to get you.
Yeah,
I'm
no,
gonna get you
all of
for
New
a
York
second.
hates him,
I promise. Let me
Giannoni.
get
I mean,
this
so
question.
much.
We're trying. I know
And
you
the crime
guys-
rate's
we got other
horrific.
issues we're trying to get to,
Yeah.
including a big one coming up in a minute. But Senator Warren, I want to
A
continue
big
on
one
the
coming up.
Mitch McConnell thing because you have a
Oh,
lot of
God.
ambitious plans. You have a plan for that. Okay. We talked about the Supreme Court. Do you have a plan to deal with Mitch McConnell if you don't beat him in the Senate? If he's still sitting there as the Senate Majority Leader, it's very plausible you be elected president with a Republican Senate. Do you have a plan to deal with Mitch McConnell?
I do.
That's it. I do.
We are a democracy, and the way a democracy is supposed to work is the will of the people matters. Now, we for far too long have had a Congress in Washington that has just completely dismissed what people care about
Oh,
across
God.
this country. They
Trump
have made
tweeted
this
something.
country work
We'll talk
much
about it on the
better
break.
Yeah.
for those who can make giant contributions, made it work better for those who hire armies of lobbyists and lawyers, and not made it work for the people. Well, here's how I see this happening. Number one, sure, I want to see us get a Democratic majority in the Senate. But short of a Democratic majority in the Senate, you better understand the fight
fuck.
still goes on.
Oh, fuck,
It
she's
starts
angry.
in the White House, and it means that everybody we energize in 2020 stays on the front lines come January 2021. We have to push from the outside, have leadership from the inside,
Okay.
and make this Congress reflect the will of the people.
I'm going to get a couple of you in here.
people don't like you.
30 seconds. Congressman Delaney.
It's such empty language
I know.
that she
You can do
uses.
everything in a bipartisan manner. Mitch McConnell doesn't operate that way. He operates differently. Why do you think he is going to conform to your style?
I think we need to get things done. That's why.
Maya,
think we
yeah, I
need to
completely
operate in a
agree.
bipartisan manner. Listen,
But they don't want to
I'll
touch that
sign into
conversation
law
because it's hard.
bills that come to the White House that are passed on a party line basis.
Blaming it on
Absolutely.
guns is
But
easy.
all the big transformative
Huh?
things
Blaming
we've
it on
ever done in
guns
this
is easy.
country's
It's
history
easy. It's super
have
easy.
happened
Yeah.
when huge majorities of the American people get behind them, which is why we need real solutions, not impossible promises. We need to put forth ideas that work, whether it's on health care, creating universal health care so that every American gets health care, but not running on making private insurance illegal. Okay. The gun issue is related. The gun safety issue is related because I can't tell you how many times I've been with folks in Western Maryland, and they've said to me,
God, they
you know, Democrats don't do anything for us, Republicans don't do anything for us. You fight all the time, so they vote on
His
that
point.
single issue.
He's been
Okay,
pointing
we
this whole
become the
time.
party
I know.
of getting
That's kind of
things
his
done
thing.
for the American
Weird.
people with
Senator
real
Booker,
solutions, not impossible promises. We'll be able to get all
I
these
promise
things
two
done.
30s here. I'm going to say, Senator Booker, 30 seconds. How do you deal with Mitch McConnell? You've been in the Senate. You can't get bills on the floor right now with Mitch McConnell. Presidents can't do it. Is President Booker going to get his bills on the floor with Senator McConnell?
You know, when I got to the United States Senate, going back to what de Blasio said, as an African-American man in an African-American dominated community, I knew one of the
there it
biggest
is.
issues was criminal justice reform.
He's like
from police accountability to dealing with the fact that we have a
25%.
nation that has more
Yeah.
African-Americans under criminal
Mixed. It's
supervision
like, okay.
than all the slaves in 1850.
From a middle
Okay,
class
wait.
family.
People told me we could not get a comprehensive criminal justice reform bill
Okay.
done. As my colleagues in the Senate know, I fought on that bill from the day I got to the Senate, built coalitions across the aisle, and today
And
we
who helped
passed
you with
the
that
First
bill?
Step Act. It's not as far as I want to go.
Jared
but
Kushner and
thousands
Trump?
of
Oh,
people
fuck.
Did they help you with that bill?
Oh, fuck.
Did they agree on that bill for you?
Cannot achieve, and I've been able to get things accomplished.
Thank you, Senator Booker. Rachel's got the next question.
With the help of Trump.
Hold on,
going
Governor,
next, please.
you're going to be happy with where we go. Governor Inslee, this
Just
next
give us a
question
second.
is to you.
Oh God.
God, those chompers.
Oh, ew.
You stated your candidacy on the issue of climate change. It is first, second, and third priority for you. You said it's all the issues.
Whoa.
Let's get specific. We're here in Miami, which is already experiencing serious flooding on sunny days. as a result of sea level rise. Parts of Miami Beach and the Keys could be underwater in our lifetimes. Does your plan save Miami?
Yes, first by taking away the filibuster from Mitch McConnell to start with. We have to do that. Look at, we are the first generation to feel the sting of climate change, and we are the last that can do something about it. Our towns are burning, our fields are flooding, Miami is inundated. And we have to understand, this is a climate crisis, an emergency, and it is our last chance in the administration, next one, to do something about it. And we need to do what I've done in my state. We've passed a 100% clean electrical grid bill. We now have a vision statement, and my plan has been called the gold standard of putting people to work. But the most important thing on this, and the biggest decision for the American public, is who's going to make this the first priority. And I am the candidate and the only one who's saying this has to be the top priority of the United States, the organizing principle to mobilize the United States so that we can do what we've always done.
Neononi, I forgot that Booker's with Rosario Dawson. I completely forgot about
They're
that.
They're together?
Yes.
What the fuck?
She's his beard, though, I think.
Plan for your campaign. You want some big changes in a
good
pretty
for
short
her.
period of time, including
this pussy ain't free.
I know.
He's paying her to be his beard.
Give me some political power.
What's your message to a voter who supports the overall goal of what you're trying to do, but suddenly feels as if government's telling them how to live?
Look how long his what is that called again?
I think you've got to bring
what is that called?
The decisions and the solutions.
Not the
to challenges
frenulum.
that we
That's
face.
part of your penis.
That's why we're traveling everywhere.
That's not. We can call it. It's his frenulum. Yeah.
Pacific Junction, a town that had never meaningfully flooded before.
How long is
just up
frenulum
against
is.
the Missouri River in Iowa, and every home in that community had flooded. There were farms just outside of Pacific Junction that were effectively lakes. Those farmers already underwater in debt. Their markets closed to them by a trade war under this administration.
I don't really have a lot of thought on climate change. I don't, or like a strong opinion, really. Like, I think it's something that's worth
in Miami, in Houston,
trying.
Let's take care of the earth.
But I don't really see it as like an effective campaign strategy at all.
Over the next 10 years. We're going to free
I think denying climate change is a joke.
That's a weird
Nobody
one.
will take you seriously.
Well, I mean, Trump kind of does. But
yeah, I know. It's embarrassing.
I just think that, like, at the end of the day, though, like, if it's not affecting someone directly, like, they don't think much about it. And like, the largest fire that we had here in California was caused by outdated equipment from Edison, and so it wasn't climate change.
Dude, Edison fucks this whole state.
I don't know. It wasn't Edison. It's one of our big PG&E.
Okay.
I think it's PG&E. It was their faulty equipment that caused the. What was that fire? The big fire, the campfire? I don't know. One of them, the big one. So it wasn't climate change; it was faulty electrical equipment. And so it's just like them framing these.
Paradise?
Yeah, that was the Paradise Fire. Yeah.
Maybe they're building a house someplace that isn't safe. Who pays to build that?
Lifeless
house?
eyes, like a doll's eyes.
Well, I don't think that represents
from something?
It's from Jaws.
In
Oh,
fact, my first
shit,
visit
dude!
after
It's been decades since I saw
announced
that.
my candidacy wasn't to Iowa or New Hampshire.
Yeah,
it was to
definitely, or just
South
waste in general,
Puerto
Maya.
Rico. Because people should know that if I'm elected president, everybody will count. And I'm one of the few candidates in this race with executive experience, with a track record of getting things done. When I was mayor of San Antonio, we moved our local public utility. We began to shift it from coal-fired plants to solar and other renewables, and also created more than 800 jobs doing that. And when I was Home Secretary, we worked on the National Disaster Resilience Competition to invest in communities that were trying to rebuild from natural disasters in a sustainable way. That's the way that we're going to help make sure that we're all safer in the years to come and that we combat climate change. And if I'm elected president, the first thing that I would do, like Senator Klobuchar also has said, is sign an executive order recommitting us to the Paris Climate Accord so that we lead again.
Congressman Ryan, I got a full question for you here.
Tulsi has not talked in like 20 minutes.
The Paris Climate Accord too is so hilarious too because it doesn't address like China and India, who will never ever curb their emissions ever. So I'm actually glad that we didn't go into it, because we would be fiscally responsible for somehow getting China and India to reduce their emissions, which will never happen.
Put on the backs of the consumer.
Right.
If pricing carbon is just politically impossible, how do we pay for climate mitigation?
Well, there's a variety of different ways to pay. We talk about different ways of raising revenue, and I think we've got to build our way
They're
out of
really
this
not on top of the microphones.
No, whoever's audio engineering this is doing a terrible job.
Really
We
weird.
could talk about climate, we could talk about guns, we could talk about all of these issues that we all care about. We have a perception problem with the Democratic Party. We are not connecting to the working class people in the very states that I represent, in Ohio, in the industrial Midwest. We've lost all connection.
Yes. Yeah.
We have got to change the center of gravity of the Democratic Party from being coastal and elitist and Ivy League, which is the perception, to somebody
it's the
from
truth.
the forgotten communities that have been left behind for the last 30 years, to get those workers back on our side so we can say we're going to build electric vehicles, we're going to build solar panels. But if you want
they
to
can't
Mitch
afford
McConnell, this better be a working class party if you want to go into Kentucky and take his rear end out. And if you want to take Lindsey Graham out, you got to have a blue
say acid cock,
go into
Jesus
the
Christ.
textile communities in South Carolina. So all I'm saying here,
thank you, Congressman Ryan.
All I'm saying here
thank you, Congressman Ryan.
Yeah, agreed, Tom. That was handled well.
If we don't address that fundamental problem with our connection to workers, white, black, brown, gay, straight, working class people, none of this is going to get done, Chuck.
Thank you very much.
He's right.
He's right.
We're going to keep moving. Congressman Delaney, I'm going to get to you.
I introduced the only bipartisan carbon tax bill in Congress.
All right. 30 seconds go.
Carbon
pricing
carbon tax.
You just have to do it right. You can't put a price on carbon, raise energy prices, and not give the money back to the American people. My proposal, which is put a price on carbon, give a dividend back to the American people. It goes out one pocket, back in the other.
Thank you, Congressman.
And then they move all of their factories to Mexico, China, India.
In the Congress and the Republicans who live in coastal states. Because Republicans in Florida, they actually care about this issue. This has got to be our way forward.
Oh my
if
God,
we're
dude!
Serious about this issue.
Congresswoman
Thank you. Oh, okay, Tulsi.
One of the first things you did after launching your campaign was to issue an apology to the LGBTQ community about your past stances and statements on gay rights.
Oh, Jesus.
She was like 22 years old.
Of civil rights protections for many in that community. Why should voters in that community, or voters that care about this issue in general, trust you now?
Let me say that there is no one in our government at any level who has the right to tell any American who they should be allowed to love or who they should be allowed to marry.
Oh, okay. Applause right away.
I mean, what else does she have to say? She's already said it.
Shows my commitment to fighting for LGBTQ equality. I serve on the Equality Caucus and recently voted for passage of the Equality Act. Maybe many people in this country can relate to the fact that I grew up in a socially conservative home.
I can.
Views when I was very young.
There you go.
That I no longer hold today.
Me too.
I've served with LGBTQ service members, both in training and deployed downrange. I know that they would give their life for me, and I would give my life for them.
Wow.
It is this commitment that I'll carry through as President of the United States.
Oh, my God.
Recognizing that there are still people who are facing discrimination in the workplace, still people who are unable to find a home for their families. It is this kind of discrimination that we need to address.
But it's not enough.
I got chills, bro.
Add to this, it's very important.
30
seconds. This is not enough. Look, civil rights is some place to begin, but in the African American civil rights community, another place to focus on was to stop the lynching of African Americans. We do not talk enough about trans
We know
Americans,
that you were responsible for Jussie Smollett. We know it. We know you did this with Kamala Harris. I know you did it. I know you did it, Corey.
About 30% of LGBTQ kids who do not go to school because of fear. It's not enough just to be on the Equality Act. I'm an original co-sponsor. We need to have a president that will fight to protect
Queen
LGBTQ
Tulsi,
Americans
yes.
every single day from violence.
She is a queen.
Senator Klobuchar, let me put this to you. On the issue of civil rights, for decades,
Oh, Jesus.
on the issue of civil rights and demographics, honestly, and politics, for decades, the Democratic Party has counted on African American voter turnout as step one to winning elections on a national level. Democrats are counting on the Latino community now and in the future in the same way. What have you done for Black and Latino voters that should enthuse them
they're gonna all talk about reparations now.
for you if you're your party's nominee?
My life and my career and my work in the Senate has been about economic opportunity. And to me, this means better child care, for everyone in this country. And when you want to have an economy that works, you need to have retirement that works. You need to have public schools that work. And you also need to make sure that those communities are able to get those jobs of the future, the STEM jobs. In fact, Donald Trump, one of the first bills that he signed, of the 34 he signed where I was the lead Democrat, okay, that's a first up here, was one that was about that, making sure minority community members could share in those jobs. So to me,
why wouldn't they be able to before?
A few things. It's about an African-American woman that goes to a hospital in New Orleans, says her hands are swollen, and then doctor ignores her and her baby dies. It's about the fact that African-American women make 61 cents for every dollar a white man makes. So in short, we need
How are we back to
one,
this? How did that happen?
Because they just know they can lie and their followers will believe them.
To make sure everyone can vote at this table. Everyone can vote in this country. And we will also go to
They
the
want
next
equity.
step of
They don't
criminal
want equality,
justice
which is
reform.
so
Senator
bad.
Booker and I worked on that First Step Act, but we should go to the Second Step Act, which is to help all our communities across.
Senator, thank you very much.
Yeah, Maya, I agree.
Follow up to you, Secretary
Dude,
Castro.
who was
this is a 70% Latino city here in
Guthrie?
Miami.
What's her first name?
Savannah Guthrie.
Oh, yeah, she
Savannah
was like,
Guthrie. Savannah.
Savannah. She was like, nobody's answered the question yet.
Yeah, Rachel Maddow and Chuck Todd are fucking losers.
To mobilize Latino voters to stand with the Democratic Party in a big way.
Well, I also think that we have to recognize racial and social justice. And, you know, I was in Charleston not too long ago, and I remembered that Dylan Roof went to the Mother Emanuel AME Church, and he murdered 9 people who were worshiping, and then he was apprehended by police without incident. Well, but what about Eric Garner and Tamir Rice and Laquan McDonald and Sandra Bland and Pamela Turner and Antonio Arce? I'm proud that I'm the only candidate so far that has put forward legislation that would reform our policing system in America and make sure that no matter
What about Emmanuel K.
is,
Sampson, who killed, let's see here,
Latinos who are mistreated too oftentimes by police?
Secretary Castro, thank you.
shooting a black man who shot up a white church in Nashville, Tennessee. I bet none of you heard about that. And he killed, let's see.
The candidates. Let me read one now. This comes from John in New York, who submitted this question. He asks, does the United States have a responsibility to protect in the case of genocide or crimes against humanity? Do we have a responsibility to intervene, to protect people?
It doesn't matter. It all happens.
Yeah, I think that's a really like red pilly point that you're making.
But it's just kind of the thing of like, but it's not. It's just like, this is not like a unique thing that ends up happening. And
the question, the answer
it's just all platitudes and horseshit.
But that action should always be undertaken with
Neon Oni can probably help me with the Sampson thing. I don't know the number he put up, but it was, I remember it being decent.
United front, we have a much better chance of achieving our foreign policy aims and preventing the kind of genocide to which you refer, the kind of genocide that we saw in Rwanda, the kind of genocide we want to stop going forward. But unfortunately, under this administration,
I think that, honestly, Maya, I think what they're all doing, even the ones that know they're not going to win, they want jobs at MSNBC and CNN as, like, pundits. And so they know that having Democratic nominee as, or not, rather, Democratic candidate as on their title as well, it will allow them to work in media jobs once they retire from politics.
Maybe.
And certainly, that's what it is.
To do the same. He's embraced strongmen and dictators at the expense of the great democracies.
What was that sound?
As president, I will make sure
like
that we
Velcro.
live our values in our foreign policy.
Masking
I will
tape.
ensure that we strengthen those alliances
What
and
is that?
partnerships
I
and
don't know.
friendships and meet
This
any
is an
challenge that we
embarrassment.
face together. That makes America stronger.
But what about the War Powers Act?
Congressman O'Rourke,
What about the War Powers Act being a part of that equation? With deep respect to the congressman, look, we've learned of painful lessons as Americans, that we've gone to war without congressional authorization. And look, this is very personal for me. I know the cost of war. My dad served in the Pacific in World War II in the U.S. Army. Battle of Okinawa, had half his leg blown off, and he came home with scars, both physical and emotional, and he did not recover. He
You don't get to take
spiraled
Tulsi's
downward,
point,
and he
dude.
ultimately took his own life.
Oh, jeez.
And that battle didn't kill him, but that war did. And look, even in the humanitarian crisis, and I think we should be ready, Congressman, to intervene. God forbid there is a genocide, but not without congressional approval. Democrats and Republicans, both in the Congress, have not challenged presidents and have let them get away with running the military without the congressional approval. We learned a lesson in Vietnam we seem to have forgotten. And the decisions have to be made by the United States Congress.
I want to pick up this point, and I want to put this to Congressman Ryan. Today, the Taliban claimed responsibility for killing 2 American service members in Afghanistan. Leaders as disparate as President Obama and President Trump have both said that they want to end U.S. involvement in Afghanistan. But it isn't over for America. Why isn't it over?
Maya, it's just a circle jerk.
Very different parties and very different temperaments get us out of there. And how could you?
I appreciate that question. So I've been in Congress 17 years, and 12 of those years I've sat on the Armed Services Committee, either the Defense Appropriations Committee or the Armed Services Committee. And the lesson that I've learned over the years is that you have to stay engaged in these situations. Nobody likes it. It's long. It's tedious. But right now we have, so I would say we must be engaged in this. We must have our State Department engaged. We must have our military engaged to the extent they need to be. But the reality of it is this president doesn't even have people appointed in the State Department to deal with these things. Whether we're talking about Central America, whether we're talking about Iran, whether we're talking about Afghanistan, we've got to be completely engaged. And here's why. Because these flare-ups distract us from the real problems in the country. If getting drones shot down for $130 million
say Facebook
because the president is distracted. That's
and it's all Facebook's fault.
$130 million that we could be spending in places like Youngstown, Ohio, or Flint, Michigan, or rebuilding.
Congresswoman Gabbard, I'm going to give you 30 seconds, actually, to jump off what he said. He described engagement as the problem.
Is that what you will tell the parents of those 2 soldiers who were just killed in Afghanistan? Well, we just have to be engaged. As a soldier, I will tell you
he
that
said
answer
nothing.
Is unacceptable. We have to bring our troops home from Afghanistan. We are in a place in Afghanistan where we have lost so many lives. We've spent